So I started over at the age of 51, and here's something I want you to know. One of the things I realized really quickly after I left my relationship and my country and I was living alone for the first time in my life, I realized I didn't know how to make a fucking decision. I was sitting there at an Airbnb and I had to decide where I was going to go next. It was the middle of the pandemic and I felt frozen. I didn't know how to make a decision about where I was going to go next. And I quickly realized that I had been relying on other people my whole life to help me make decisions. And one of the payoffs for me in that was that if that decision didn't work out, I could blame them and I'd come out smelling like a rose, looking like the good girl, like I always wanted to be, right? Because of my good girl programming. So I quickly realized this and that I had to figure out how to make my own decisions and stand on my own 2 feet. And that was scary as hell. But here's the first thing I realized. In order to make a decision for myself, I had to know myself. I had to be connected to the truth. I had to be connected to my inner being because my whole life I had been making decisions from fear. Fear was driving the bus of my life. And that took me into a lot of ditches and a lot of U-turns and a lot of bad choices. So in order to make decisions that worked for me, that were going to support me in my new life and my new goals to live a life that turned me on, excited me, lit me up, made me happy, I had to know myself. And that took me on a journey of self-discovery, of really understanding what does it mean to know myself, to be connected to my true self, my inner being? What does it mean to be able to listen to my intuition, my gut, and then take inspired action from that place instead of fear? And that was one of my big lessons, is if you want to live a life that is aligned with who you really are and make choices that work for you, you have to know yourself. Otherwise, you'll default back to fear, letting other people make those decisions for you or influence you. So, of course, we allow others to, talk to us about our decisions and we want to seek advice and counsel, but ultimately, those big life choices, those are yours to make, and they have to come from a place of alignment and connection with your true self. So if you are thinking of starting over, that's one thing I would say to you, is learn how to connect to your inner being and make decisions from that place of connection. And then you will live this intuitive life and magic happens.